Dear students, welcome to my class of mixed method research, and our today's topic would be mixing methods on purpose. I'm Dr. Ayaz Muhammad Khan, Director Division of Education, University of Education, Lahore. So student, here is a brief summary of the things that we'll cover today. The very first one, mixing method for better understanding. Why do we mix quantitative, qualitative method to go for better understanding? Then we'll talk about purposes of mixed methods, and then I'll give you an illustration of mixed method purpose in practice, some practical procedures for thinking about and identifying mixed method purposes. Last but not the least, we'll be discussing mixed method purposes and stances on mixing paradigms while mixing methods. Dear students, whenever you start thinking about mixed method research, you have in your mind whether I have to follow a single paradigm like pragmatism, or suppose if I'm mixing quantitative research with qualitative, whether the philosophical paradigm for qualitative research and quantitative research would be different, or I have to go for some out of box solution. Then you might have experienced that many students nowadays thinking of performing qualitative research, they are afraid of the people who will be evaluating their researches, and the major fear is that they would ask about the generalizability uh, and validity of that research. They would prefer to go for mixing method research, which may help them in resolving both of these problems. If someone wishes to see generalizability or development of the theory, they would be satisfied on one hand, and on the other hand, we know that qualitative studies aim at in-depth analysis of the things, so that in-depth analysis which goes vertical into the phenomena, not horizontal, would solve many of their problems as well. So here you see that why mixed method research. There are certain weaknesses and strengths of quantitative and qualitative methods. You can see that when we look at quantitative method, paradigm is clear. Uh, People usually go for generalization. You try to take large samples. We know we cannot go and cover the whole population because it would not be parsimonious in nature. So you rather go for representative sample. So you know, the larger the sample, the better it is, because it will be in a position to give exact situation of the whole population. But when we come to qualitative research, the major question is about the generalization. Though we know that the qualitative paradigm, which is interpretivist or constructivist, very clearly say that human beings think as per their context. So as the context of every individual is different, so you cannot generalize things. Actually things are subjective, or there is a subjectivity in a thing rather than objectivity. So you always go for small sample. Initially we used to call it samples, but nowadays we say they are not samples, rather they are participants in the research. And you might have heard in my previous lectures that those participants, uh, they got to be very informative, so that they may give you what the last point, details and in-depth view of the phenomena. So quantitative research has got its own plus points, but as well as weakness, because they never go in depth. And qualitative study, besides going into the depth of the phenomena, there is a weakness that people talk about, its generalizability or generalization of the results. as stated by John Creswell, that mixed method research is actually a very powerful mixture. And in the word of Green and Garcilli, that it develops a complex picture of social phenomena that shows horizontal things as well as vertical in-depth things. So we can say that overall goal of mixed method research is are of combining qualitative and quantitative research components, that is the first, and then to expand and strengthen a study conclusions, because you have got that qualitative data and quantitative data that serve the purpose of in-depth analysis and horizontal analysis. Therefore, it contributes to the published literature a lot, because the validity of the result increases manifold. In all studies, the use of mixed method should contribute to answering one research questions that is mostly demanded. If mixing methods, both quantitative and qualitative, are done, what should be the major aim? Clearly defined by Creswell that the aim would be better understanding of the phenomena. So we can say that as a method, it focuses on collecting, analyzing, and mixing both quantitative and qualitative data in a single study or series of study. So its central premise is, or rather its central premise is, that the use of quantitative and qualitative approaches in combination provides a better understanding of a research problem than either approach alone. Turner in his book has given actually three purposes, or rather four purposes, that this mixing up research is concerned. The very first one is theoretical purpose. It helps you in developing a theory, not only developing a theory when one of portion is grounded theory, but in quantitative part you actually test a theory as well. But so far as methodologically purposes are concerned, so the very first purpose that it serves is generalizability when through the quantitative part, and precision in control and measurement, that is also in quantitative part, but authenticity of the context, that is a qualitative part, because qualitative portions they usually focus on the context, the real life situation. And when you actually what you do that link these two, so you go for convergent triangulation, which ultimately goes to holistic triangulation, or you can combine both convergent and holistic triangulation. It affects, or its implications are very good for a theory, because now you can go for generalization of the theory, your accuracy of the theory would be very good, and the simplicity of the theory as well, because it would both be covering in-depth contextual underpinnings of a theory. Let's talk about theoretical purpose. Actually, theoretical purpose refers to what researchers aim to accomplish in the study as it pertains to theory. Such aims include theory generation, theory elaboration, and theory testing. So you got to keep it in your mind while starting a mixed method study, that what is actually your aim. So if your aim is to go for developing a theory, or rather generating a theory, uh, it should be pretty much clear in your study. And for mixed method studies that focus on convergent triangulation, the theoretical purpose may involve assessing the validity of an explanation by conducting multiple tests using methodologies that are flawed in different ways, or it may involves stating with one method for theory development and concluding with another for theory testing. So not only one part of your research would go for theory development, but your other part can go for theory testing as well. Thus, theory testing often plays a very important role in convergent triangulation research. By contrast, for studies focused on holistic triangulation, the theoretical purpose often centers on the development of theory. So, holistic triangulation leads to theory development. Methodological purpose. You might have heard the name of McGrath, who suggested that scholars select research strategies based on the extent to which a given method can accomplish several objectives. So, the first may be its ability to maximize generalizability with respect to the population. Suppose you are working on a research which is a mixed method, and you have in your mind that it should serve maximum generalizability, and then it's prescient to control measurement of variable related to behavior of interest. Second one, what tools or instrument would you use, and how far valid and reliable they would be uh, in the measurement of those particular variables, and its ability to provide authenticity of context for observed behavior. Here you use qualitative portion which caters for that need. For example, a method that offers precision in control and measurement of variable is well suited for addressing threats to internal validity. That is what we know, that the more control you have got, especially if you just recall experimental research, you see, you try to control all the threats, whether they are internal or external, in order to make your result more representative and more valid and reliable, which refers to the validity of inferences regarding whether covariation between an independent dependent variable results from a causal relationship, as opposed to the possibility that other extraneous variables are responsible for the outcome. Once again, what you do in experimental study, you try to control all the extraneous variable that may affect on your dependent variable. You have got independent, which you manipulate to see its effect on dependent variable. But suppose you are manipulating the independent variable, but the change is in the dependent variable is not because of the change in independent variable, rather some extraneous variable which you have not controlled. In experimental research studies, we have very deeply studied all those things. So here is a chart that shows that how methodological purpose is fulfilled by particular research strategies. Uh, in the list you can see different research strategies like archival records, case study, computer simulation, experimental simulation, field experiment, formal theory, mathematical, then interviews, lab experiment, survey. And similarly at the other side you can see that methodological purpose within mixed method research design is given. Suppose you have archival records. So archival records can be used in different ways. At a strategy, it can be effective in maximizing generalizability with respect to population, enhancing precision in control, measurement of variable, and capturing behavior that have taken place in an authentic context. Case studies are well suited for capturing behavior that have taken place in an authentic context. If you just recall my lecture of case study, you would understand that phenomenon very well. Then computer simulation. Computer simulation is a well suited for enhancing precision in control, measurement of variable, and can be effective in maximizing generalizability with respect to population. Then we have also got experimental simulations that can be effective in enhancing personal precision in control, measurement of variable, and capturing behavior. Interviews, I would like to look into it specifically. Interview are well suited for capturing behavior that have taken place in an authentic context. But here you cannot talk about generalizability, you cannot talk about what you say, measurement of variables or control of variables. Here is a list given of sequential design and concurrent design that you have already gone through in my first lecture of mixed method research design, that we in a sequence what we do: qualitative, quantitative, we collect data, quantitative data and then qualitative data, and then interpret those results. But in concurrent, you collect both the data at the same time and interpret the results, whether your major portion is quantitative and minor is qualitative, or major is qualitative or minor is quantitative. Then how do you go while deciding for mixed method purposes? Uh, they were given by Turner in Practical Procedure for Thinking About and Identifying Mixed Method Purposes. He has given you that thing in 4 steps. The very first step is decide on the research question. Select an interesting research question with the potential to yield important insights for theory or understanding of a phenomenon. Second one would be determining theoretical intention. Decide whether your theoretical purpose involves developing theory, testing theory, or both. So suppose you are going for developing theory, quantitative portion would be qualitative at the initial phase would be far more better. If you wish to test the theory, then quantitative would be initially better, or you can go for both, in concurrent design. Decide which one or two theoretical attributes to prioritize: generalize uh, generality, accuracy, or simplicity. Then, once you decide that whether you are going to develop a theory or test a theory or doing the both things, the second would be what attribute would you adopt, meaning thereby you wish to go for quantitative first and qualitative second, or qualitative first and quantitative second. It all depends on the step, on the first point of the step 2. Then select the process for triangulation. Choose the process that will best serve your theoretical intention. Uh, think in your mind whether convergent triangulation, holistic triangulation, or convergent and holistic triangulation would be better. They are different. You have already studied those things in my first lecture. You just have to see which three strategies would you, which one of the three strategies would you adopt here. Last but not the least, determine the mix of methodologies. Select a set of researcher strategies that will meet your objectives for the research study. So here is the standpoint you are in uh, when you think that, most of the, people who think that qualitative methods are best, uh, they go for, their research paradigm is actually constructivism or interpretivism, which based on inductive logic, exploratory research that go into the depth of the phenomena. But being a quantitative method expert, you would say that these methods are best. They can explore things objectively in numbers. There is a precision in numbers. You can make all sort of measurements, and this is what is positivism or post-positivism, that believes on deduction, hypothetical deductive reasoning, that believes on generalizability, that believes that reality is plausible as far as they are concerned. But there is another school of thought that we say the research question drives everything. It is better to think about your research question and then decide how, by mixing up both, you would be in a position to go for a good research design or result. Let's talk about three of the stances, possible positions of mixed method researchers can take to adopt a paradigm to underpin their research. They are the aparadigmatic stance, B the multiple paradigm stance, and the C is the single paradigm stance. So let's talk about one by one. The very first one is the A paradigmatic stance, which actually sidesteps the paradigm issue by ignoring it. They actually claim that methodology is independent of the epistemology that gave rise to it. I mean, when you go for method, you decide that you are going to adopt the mixed method research. So, the discussion regarding epistemology, which is a prerequisite for positivist, post-positivist, and interpretivist paradigm, it has nothing to do with it. So they believe that this can be true only a very few general sense, in that, say, empiricism mandates some kind of observational method, but it does not specify any particular method. So there is no need to think of some paradigm while conducting a research. This is the very first stance, which is called as a paradigmatic stance. Then the multiple paradigm stance claims that researchers can draw on more than one paradigm in their research. Uh, this takes three forms outlined by Teddy and Tashakori, namely the complementary strengths thesis, the dialectical thesis, and the multiple paradigm thesis. Uh, when you look at this stance, they believe that you can go for more than one stance, one paradigm, meaning thereby when you say mixed method research, maybe your first, if it is quantitative, it is positivist, and the qualitative portion may go for uh, say ethnography or phenomenology. So the complementary strength thesis, meaning thereby where one to one you give much importance and to the other you give less importance, the sequential design. The dialectical thesis, actually, that would be more focused on joining the both, and not and just going concurrently in both the cases, in multiple paradigm thesis and dialectic thesis. The third paradigmatic position that can be taken by mixed method researcher is the single paradigm approach. In this stance, researcher adopt a single paradigm, meaning thereby they say, all right, we are encompassing both, and our paradigm is pragmatic or transformative. So there is no need to go into the depth saying that though on the upper hand we are following a mixed method with pragmatic paradigm, but while segregating the two, quantitative qualitative, we have separate paradigm for qualitative, separate for quantitative. No, they say all this must be treated under the single pragmatic position, paradigmatic position, as a matter of fact. So students, nowadays you are preparing for your research proposals, and most of you are developing your research proposal on mixed method format. So what I would require from you is to identify theoretical gap of your research proposed title, identify methodological gap of your proposed title, and propose a mixed method design for your study, keeping in mind the purpose of mixed method design that we have studied in this lecture. I'm sure you would listen to it very carefully, because after the midterm you would be appearing uh, for your presentation of the mixed method research proposal. So do understand that thing very carefully. Thank you very much for listening me so patiently.